Hi, and welcome to another Behind the Poem story about the poems in my latest collection, Coffee and Paper Cuts. What you see behind me is obviously a table where I do most of my writing and where most of the poems in Coffee and Paper Cuts were written at Birdie's Bar in Wimbledon. It's also where I held my book launch on the 22nd of May. A lot of the stories that I'm going to be telling you are going to be coming from this place because that is where most of those poems were written over the last 2 years, including the one I want to talk about today, which is called Like a Love Song. In my very first book, which also had a number of poems written at that table, I wrote a poem about the live musician and how it kind of broke through some writer's block, having the live musician play, and for me to recognize the atmosphere and the song titles and the way that the crowd was responding to the musician playing. That has continued. So the poem in the first book that has to do with this writing process that I have was called Two Artists in a Bar. And it had a kind of cyclical structure, and there's a whole video about it from my Behind the Poem stories for Between Hindsight and Foresight. This Behind the Poem story tells you kind of about an evolution within that. I did continue to write to the musician. I did continue to write with the atmosphere. Some of the poems that I'll be talking about later, like At the Zoo, were written based on the patrons at the bar, but also the patrons at every bar I've ever been to. But Like a Love Song was more focused on the piano player, maybe, and what the piano player was playing more than any other poem that I've written in or about the bar. This is because I have a guilty pleasure of love songs. I love love songs. I enjoy power ballads. I enjoy songs about love, possibly because I'm a massive hopeless romantic, and possibly because I am so unbearably sick of the dating scene and so unbearably sick of all these fabulous love songs that tell me how great love is going to be, and then it never is. It never is like it tells you in the love songs. And there was this one particularly memorable evening where I was listening to the music and I was singing along to the songs I knew. And then he started like a group of songs that I knew every last word to every last one of them, but they were all love songs, and they were all my favorite love songs, played in sequence, one after the other, in a kind of litany, a never ending, this is what love should be kind of thing. And as I was listening and as I was singing along, I started to get really angry, really cross that, dang it, no, that this is not going to happen. This is not me or who I am or where I am. And I just like felt like kind of glaring at the piano player. Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me. I love these love songs. I love what they stand for. I love what they represent, but I can't have it. So stop pushing my favorite love songs in my face, because I know I can't have it right now. And it's one of those things that eventually love either comes or it doesn't at its own will. And Cupid pays no attention to our timetable or our time scale. But as you read Like a Love Song, I was trying to play homage to my favorite love songs, making hints at their lyrics or hints at their ideas of the songs that I do love and admire and enjoy so much. But at the same time, that expressing that frustration that love is never like it is in a love song, and how much most of us without love would like it to be like it's in a love song. We'd be able to find that, beautiful, beautiful love-struck gaze from across the crowded room, and, have that love that lasts forever, have that love that, doesn't care about our edges and our past or any of those things. So Like a Love Song is dedicated to the piano player, who does keep us all entertained every week and is phenomenal and such a kind person, such a nice guy, very, very talented musician, always creates almost the perfect atmosphere for me to write in, but does occasionally get on my nerves when he's playing songs I love that I know are about things that I'm not quite there yet or not quite ready for yet. If you have ever had a song that you associate with an old flame, or a song from a moment in at the high school dance, or a key moment in your childhood, or a key moment in your teenage years, or your adult life, something that you associate, the sights, the smells, the memories that get brought up by music is quite astonishing. So if you've ever experienced that, like a love song should ring true with you as a poem and bring up some of those ideas and thoughts. It's not a negative poem as such. It may come across as a negative poem as such, but it's only kind of intended to come across as like a frustrated, hopeless romantic kind of feel, to express that desire to have those things, and the frustration and disappointment that has when it doesn't come along in our time scale. So that's the story behind Like a Love Song, and its continued presence in my life, so that whenever I do go listen to live music, or do listen to the radio and that kind of thing, and hear these songs, I love them, but they make me sad, but I love them and they make me happy. But they are one of those kind of just out of reach sort of songs. So I guess that gives you a lot of information about me and a little of information about the poem, but I hope it's all enjoyable. Thank you for listening to another Behind the Poem story, and I hope to see you next time.